This $2 liquid sitting in your garage can permanently remove rust from your car, tools, and even metal fixtures in your home. And mechanics and restoration shops charge anywhere from $500 to $10,000 for the exact same result. I'm talking about something so cheap, so basic, that once you see it working, you're going to question everything you've ever been told about professional repairs. They didn't hide this because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. Look at your car right now. That rust creeping under the paint, the brown flakes on your tools, the corrosion on metal pipes, hinges, even outdoor furniture. You've been conditioned to believe rust means damage, permanent damage. Replace it, sand it down, repaint it, call a professional, spend money. But what if I told you that rust is not permanent, and removing it doesn't require expensive chemicals or specialized equipment? This channel exists to expose exactly this kind of truth. The things that work but don't get advertised, the solutions that are cheap, simple, and brutally effective, but somehow never make it into commercials. Because they don't generate profit, they destroy it. If you want to stop wasting money on industry lies, subscribe and hit the bell. Not because I need it, because you need to see what they've buried. Now go back with me for a second. The year is 1943, World War II, a military workshop in Ohio, mechanics working around the clock, maintaining vehicles and weapons, steel everywhere, and rust. Rust was the enemy, not just visually, but functionally. Equipment would fail, weapons would jam, vehicles would degrade. They didn't have time for expensive treatments. They needed something fast, cheap, and reliable. One of the mechanics, not a scientist, not a chemist, just a practical problem solver, started experimenting with common supplies, things they already had, pantry-level materials, and what he found was almost too simple. White vinegar, plain, cheap, acidic vinegar. It didn't just clean rust, it dissolved it. Your grandmother already knew this. She used it every single day, not just for cooking, for cleaning, for restoring, for maintaining things that lasted decades. Before industries convinced everyone that old methods were outdated, before everything had to come in a shiny plastic bottle with a premium price tag, here's what's actually happening. At the molecular level, rust is iron oxide. That reddish-brown layer forms when iron reacts with oxygen and moisture over time. It bonds tightly to the metal surface. That's why it looks permanent. That's why it feels impossible to remove. But vinegar contains acetic acid, and at the molecular level, that acid reacts with iron oxide. It breaks down the bonds holding the rust together. It converts it into a water-soluble compound. That means the rust literally dissolves. Not scraped, not sanded. Dissolved. Think about that for a second. You've been told rust removal requires grinding tools, chemical treatments, or full replacements. Entire industries built around that belief. Auto repair, metal restoration, tool refurbishment, multi-billion-dollar systems designed to keep you dependent, because they cannot patent vinegar. They cannot trademark it. They cannot sell it to you for $49.99 with a fancy label and claim exclusivity. So what do? They bury it. They redirect your attention. They convince you it's not strong enough, that you need something industrial. Meanwhile, every year you don't know this, you're wasting money, replacing tools that could be restored, paying for repairs that were never necessary, letting small problems turn into expensive disasters. Your wallet is bleeding, and you don't even realize it. And this is where the anger should kick in. Because this isn't about ignorance anymore. This is about manipulation, decades of it. You were never meant to learn this. You were meant to keep paying. But now you're here, and now you see it. If you've made it this far, you already know more than 99% of homeowners. So let's get practical. No fluff, no theory, just results. Take a rusted tool, wrench, screwdriver, anything metal. Place it in a container. Glass or plastic, doesn't matter. Pour in enough white vinegar to fully submerge the rusted area. Don't dilute it. Full strength. Now wait. Minimum 1 hour for light rust. For heavy rust, leave it overnight. 8 to 12 hours. This is where patience pays off. Because at the molecular level, that acetic acid is working nonstop, breaking down the iron oxide layer piece by piece. When you come back, you're going to see something most people never expect. The rust will look darker, looser, almost like it's peeling away. That's your signal. Take the item out, use a simple brush, even an old toothbrush works. Start scrubbing lightly. You don't need force. The rust has already been weakened. It comes off effortlessly. Rinse it with water. Dry it immediately. And here's the part most people miss. Apply a thin layer of oil. Any basic oil. This prevents future oxidation. This locks in the result. What you're left with is metal that looks restored. Not temporarily cleaned, not cosmetically improved, actually restored, because you removed the root problem. For larger surfaces like car parts or outdoor metal, same principle. Soak a cloth in vinegar, wrap it around the rusted area, leave it for a few hours, come back, scrub, rinse, done. And the cost? Maybe $2. Compare that to $500 repair quotes, or full replacements running into thousands. This is the gap they don't want you to notice. Because once you see it, you start questioning everything else. What else have they buried? What other problems in your home, your car, your life have simple, cheap solutions hiding in plain sight? And that's exactly why this matters. This isn't just about rust. It's about awareness, about breaking out of a system designed to keep you spending. So don't just watch this. Use it, test it, prove it to yourself. And when you do, you're going to feel something shift, because you'll realize how easy it was all along. Now take that same mindset and expand it, because once you understand how this works, you start seeing the pattern everywhere. The problem was never the rust. The problem was the story you were sold about the rust. You were told it's permanent. You were told it requires professionals. You were told it's complicated. And every one of those statements was designed to separate you from your money. This is where it gets deeper, because rust is just one example. The same logic applies to corrosion on battery terminals, seized bolts under your car, even those stubborn stains on outdoor grills and fences. They all come down to chemical reactions that can be reversed. Not masked, not hidden, reversed. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The auto repair industry knows this. The restoration shops know this. The product manufacturers definitely know this. But they can't build a business model around something you can buy for $1 or $2 at any grocery store. So instead, they build layers. Products on top of products, tools on top of tools, services on top of services. And somewhere under all of that, the simple solution gets buried. They didn't hide this because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. Think about your car specifically. Rust doesn't just look bad, it spreads. Slowly at first, then aggressively. And once it gets under paint, it becomes a nightmare. That's when shops start talking about sanding, priming, repainting, replacing panels. Costs jump from hundreds to thousands. But if you interrupt that process early, if you remove the oxidation at the molecular level before it spreads, you stop the entire chain reaction. That's what you're doing here. You're not cleaning, you're interrupting chemistry. At the molecular level, when vinegar breaks down iron oxide, it exposes the raw metal underneath. That's why drying and sealing matters. Because bare metal, when left exposed, will react again with oxygen and moisture. That's how rust returns. So the real secret isn't just removing rust. It's removing it and then protecting the surface so it doesn't come back. And this is where most people fail. Not because they're careless, but because no one tells them this part. They clean, they see results, and then weeks later, the rust reappears. And what do they think? It didn't work. But that's exactly what the industry wants you to think. Because if you knew the full process, you wouldn't need them. So let's lock this in properly. If you've made it this far, you already know more than 99% of homeowners. Now you're going to do it the right way, the complete way. Start with the vinegar soak exactly like before, full submersion if possible. If not, soaked cloth wrapped tightly around the rusted area. Make sure it stays wet. That's critical. If it dries out, the reaction slows down. After your waiting time, remove the item or unwrap the cloth. You'll see that dark, loosened rust layer. Take a brush, medium stiffness, not too hard, not too soft. Scrub in circular motions. Don't rush it. You're not forcing the rust off, you're guiding it off.